In today's video, we're going to extensively explore what happens when we combine slime with dry ice.
Grant says I get a turn on the Iron Throne.
Oh, all right. I'm late for a wedding anyway, so.
Limited edition t-shirt? Click the link in the description below.
Guys, we've had quite a few people who have asked us to see what happens when we combine slime and dry ice. Two things we've done a lot of experiments with, but we haven't tried combining them. So today, that's what we're gonna do. I've got a few different colors of slime mixed up here. We're gonna mix up a few more. We've got lots of dry ice, about 11 pounds of it. We wanna try every mix and match version of this stuff we can come up with. We're gonna try crushing up the dry ice. We're gonna try it in large pieces, a little bit of slime, a lot of slime, seeing what happens if we heat up the slime or cool it down a little bit more. Overall, we just want to thoroughly explore what the dry ice is going to do to this slime and what it looks like. Here's the basic idea. We've got lots of slime and lots of dry ice, and we want to try combining them in every way we can come up with to see what gives us the most interesting results. This is your standard slime recipe made with water, clear glue, borax, and a little bit of food coloring. As you can see here, I've got some blue, some green, some orange, and some black. For the black slime, I actually used blue and purple food coloring along with a little bit of charcoal dust just to really get it to a nice opaque black color. It reacts pretty much the same way as all other slime, it just has some charcoal dust in it. I thought we might get some really cool effects out of that. But to start out, I'm thinking we'll go pretty simple. We'll take the blue slime, I'm gonna take this chunk of dry ice, drop it down into the bottom, put the slime on top, and see what it does. I've got a bowl of blue slime now, it's all ready, and I'm just gonna take the slime out, put the piece of dry ice down at the bottom of the bowl, and then drop the slime back down on top of it. At least as much as I can drop it. Slime, of course, can be a bit sticky. Ooh. Oh, it's like making the little boo bubbles, but no soap is needed. Well, that is fantastic. And it just seals itself back up a little bit. Once it opens a channel all the way through the slime, it doesn't seem to want to let it close back up. Escaping the container. Poof. All right, I actually want to try that with just a slightly larger piece of dry ice. This one's not bad, but I think we can go bigger, see if that makes any difference. That's a good bubble. We got some pretty decent bubbles there, but I want to try something else. We're going to take our dry ice now and we're going to break it up into really little pieces. Not quite a powder, but just pretty small pebble bits. We're going to coat the bottom of the bowl and then put the slime on top of that. All right, whole bottom of our bowl is pretty well coated. Having to help it a little bit. The buildup of gas inside was so fast that it wouldn't let it form a seal against the glass. That is a very impressive bubble. About to take over our RX camera. Oh, it has a leak. Ooh. That got like 2 millimeters away from our backup camera here. That was fun. And it's still just like feeding. It's formed like a little tube through this bubble here. Not a lot of difference between the single piece and the several pieces. I think the several small pieces are putting off a little bit more carbon dioxide, a little bit faster, and it's spread throughout the whole bottom, obviously. But for the most part, it's really still only making just like one spot, one channel of the carbon dioxide seems to be coming up at once. And of course, as the dry ice cools the slime down, it freezes it just surrounding the dry ice at the bottom of the bowl here. So you can see we've got frozen slime. It doesn't have as much ductility as the rest of our slime. At this point, I've crushed up some of our dry ice, and this time I've really tried to turn it into a sand or powder-like texture. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to try and mix that into our slime. So it's not just sitting underneath it, but I'm gonna pour the slime into the bowl, and then I'm gonna pour, actually I think I'll do dry ice, then slime, then more dry ice, and I'm just gonna mix it up and see what happens to it there. All right, there's some dry ice. I don't know what this little schmutz is. Taking some of our orange slime. I'm not sure it likes being mixed up. Look at that. Now we've got bubbles from all over because we really got some of those dry ice bits dissolved down inside. Or not dissolved, but well mixed in. And so there's just dry ice forming little pockets all over in this. That was pretty cool. I don't think a bowl was the best way to demonstrate it, so I'm gonna try putting it on a plate and letting it just flatten out quite a bit so we can see all the effect a lot more. This time, we've got our black slime here. We're going to put the dry ice, a few good-sized chunks of it, we're gonna throw that down into the bottom of the glass. Then we're gonna pour a little bit of warm water in there as well. And the warm water should make the dry ice activate even faster. And then we're gonna drop our slime down on top of it. We're gonna see what it does. We've got a lot of dry ice going on. The slime is maybe a little less action going on. I think the dry ice is bubbling so vigorously that the slime is not really getting much press. Well, we're getting some good bubbles off of it. You can really see where I use that charcoal dust. It's just making little spots in our bubbles. All right, we want to try much the same experiment, except instead of pouring some hot water on, we're going to use some really hot water and see if we can use it to make warm slime. I'm not sure if you can. We've tried heating up slime before and it does, become a little bit more liquid. It runs off and it's not really the same slimy texture. So maybe using hot water will have that same effect. We're gonna find out. All right. Let's go for maybe a purple warm slime. All right, we've got some warm slime here. It's not as hot. It's been cooling down as I've been mixing it, and wow, this seems extra sticky. So I think warm slime is definitely stickier than cool slime, but we're just gonna put our warm slime on our dry ice and see how it looks. Cooling down pretty quickly. It's not really very warm anymore. Dry ice will do that. The next thing we want to try is we want to put some slime directly onto this block of dry ice. So we've got a fairly big, almost flat slab of dry ice here. I'm just going to take some of our slime. It's now cooled down quite a bit. I'm just going to drip it right onto the dry ice and see what it's going to do. Stay. Stay. Nope, nope. Stay. Oh, there we go. It's freezing together a little bit. I don't know what about the purple, if it was the heat or the way it mixed in with the dry ice, but it just ended up really, really liquidy and runny and sticky. This green is much more cohesive. It holds itself together. It's more like a blob than the liquid we are getting from the purple. So I think it's good to do a couple different tests with a couple different slimes. See what they each do. So this one's not really even bubbling. I don't know what it is, but I really think that the slime becomes stickier after it's been in contact with the dry ice. Looking at our purple slime, I saw that there's like no more bubbles in it, and so I thought it'd gotten thinner, and it has. Like, this is just like, it's slime in maybe even the truer sense of the word. It's a liquid. You can't even pick this up to play with it. Again, I'm unsure if it's because of the heat or just the way that the carbon dioxide has dissolved into it. Something about how it was made is just, it's formed into this liquid. And this stuff, it did start with very hot water. Perhaps it dissolved the borax a little better. Maybe it melted the PVA in the glue a little better. Either way, that or the dry ice has just turned this into like a liquid. I cannot pick it up out of the container anymore, unlike the other slimes. There's been a lot of debate on whether or not slime is like safe for, consumption and stuff, because like borax isn't good for you. But I am actually going to try. I'm going to put this in my mouth. I'm not going to swallow any of it, but I want to see if this has carbonated. We have a lot of dry ice running through it, and with water that would slightly carbonate it. So I am going to try. I'm then just going to spit it out into this cup, but I'm just so curious if this is carbonated. Yeah, that's carbonated. Now I'm going to rinse my mouth out before I swallow borax. So I tasted this, I tried it. The taste is not good. It's just a slight, mild, it's actually very little taste, which is maybe a little bit surprising. It's just a slight bitter taste, and I'm sure that comes from the borax, which I don't have much experience tasting, so I'm not an expert. But it is so weird how liquid this now is, and I'm curious if that is because of the carbonation. So what I want to try is making some slime with something more carbonated. The carbonation in this was very slight. Took a bit to realize that it really was carbonated. The carbonation in this blue Mountain Dew should be considerably stronger. So I'm gonna see if I can make slime using this instead of water and see what results I get. Now for the part that you don't usually do with soda, adding glue, about 5 ounces of it. Oh wow, borax reacts somewhat violently with our soda. Instantly just foamed up. Well, let's see if it'll dissolve in still. Okay, well, there's some borax mixed into our Mountain Dew, and it's got quite a lot of foam on top. And then see if we get slime when we combine the two. This is not turning into slime. This is just liquid. It's very similar to the consistency of the purple stuff. So whether it's the carbonation or some other aspect of what we're doing here, you cannot use Mountain Dew to make slime. That's not slime, this is just a liquid. Recipe is exactly the same, except I used Mountain Dew instead of water. Our purple turned to liquid after lots of exposure to the dry ice. Our black has basically done the same thing. This is just slime parts in it, but so much of this is just runny, like water runny. Even our orange, which is just on the plate, like there's normal slime on top, but underneath it, there's just like some liquid that has melted out. And I think it's the same thing. I think just the more dry ice you add to the slime, the more it turns to liquid. Now we've got one more thing that we want to try, and that's to take 4 of our colors of slime and stack them on top of each other in this really tall cylinder with some dry ice down at the bottom. Before we had the dry ice, it would sort of form a channel that stayed open going all the way up the slime. And I want to see if that happens when it's way taller, and if it's not just this like 1.5 inch tall container. And just as a slight bonus, we made our yellow slime here glow pretty bright under a black light, so it's kind of neon UV reflective, and I think that looks cool. Oh, it's trying to go. Oh, we got a stoplight. Okay, I think we got room for the blue. Until there's another bubble, and it's just gonna push all of the blue right out. Yep, there it goes. After doing a little bit of research, I'm pretty sure that the reason the dry ice liquefies our slime is because as it combines with the water in the slime, it actually starts to make it acidic. Dry ice combined with water will actually turn the water into an acid with a pH of about 4.5. When we tried doing an experiment to see if we could make acidic slime, we found that the acid really stopped the slime from forming. And I believe the same thing is happening here. As the dry ice reacts with the water in the slime, it starts to form an acid. The acid dissolves the rest of the slime or prevents the slime bonds from forming in the first place, and it just liquefies it all. The more of the slime that's liquefied, the more of it that can easily combine with the carbon dioxide, and the more of it turns to acid. So it's, I think, a cascading effect where it maybe starts off really small. Just the part of the slime that's in contact with the dry ice as it travels up through the container becomes a liquid, but then more and more of it becomes liquid over time, to the point that our purple and our black slime just completely liquefied to the point where you couldn't even tell that they had ever been slime in the first place. Also, as the slime becomes more liquid, as it sort of melts in the acid, it flows better and is more easily able to stop up the channel that forms from the dry ice all the way at the bottom. So eventually, even though it has a channel going up, that channel will get closed off, and I think we start getting more bubbles until all of it is liquid, at which point it's so thin that the bubbles can travel up through without running into any slime, because there is no slime left. It's all just liquid at that point. Guys, that was really cool to experience. I would not have guessed that the dry ice was going to react with the slime that way, turning it into a liquid. Click it there at the top to watch our most recent video, and we'll see you in the next one. Talk to you then.